Hello everybody, I am Sam, you've seen the Dragon Tip here today, and today we're doing yet another interview with someone who managed to do well at this past States, this 2016 season, and that is Ryan Peterson with his Vileplume deck, Vespiquen deck.
Oh, it's Jordan. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking the other Peterson. I always do mess up people's names, even if I try. Yeah, Jordan Peterson. God, I'm horrible with names. Anyway, yeah, he's gracious enough to do an interview with us and show off his list. Thank you once again for being here.
Thank you.
And before we get too much into it, tell us, why did you decide to play this deck going into week 3 of Oklahoma States?
Um, well, I had a couple friends who played this deck week 1 and week 2 and made top 8 with it, and I've played it before, and so but like my friends were just like, hey, play this, and so I used the list that they used to get top 8 at other states, so I just decided to go for it.
Isn't this looks a lot like Josh Marking's list? Is this his list?
No.
Okay.
This is actually it was pretty close to Andrew Wambolt's list that he used to win Missouri States with.
Okay.
So, but yeah, and I knew there was gonna be a lot of Night March, and this is pretty good against Night March.
Yeah, I've talked to several other people who were playing Night March already, and they pretty much said that Vileplume is probably their worst matchup,
Yeah,
along with Shrev. Some people fear Vileplume more, other people fear Shrev more. So,
yeah.
so, all right. Walk us through your tournament. What did you play against with this deck? Round one.
Okay, so round one we had Night March, which I
Yep.
wasn't too shocked about. Um, his list was pretty standard. He did play Halucha, which I thought was weird.
Hmm.
Um, so,
You see it here
but
and there.
yeah. But I went first, game one. That went pretty swiftly. Got out turn one lock and won.
Yeah.
Game two, I he hexed me turn one, which is like the main thing to do when you're playing Vileplume or playing against Vileplume. That is, and that was a pretty long game. I ended up losing that game. We went to game three, and time was called near the end of game three. Um, I had game in my hand, but I didn't see it until I'd already lost. He had Via Seeker for Lysander, but I had a Trainer's Mail in my hand to get Revitalizer out of my deck, to get the Vileplume out to win the game.
Oh, did you know that Revitalizer was one of your top 4 cards?
Yeah, well, I only had like 4 or 5 cards left in my deck at that point, and
Oh, okay,
yeah, and I had done a deck search, and I knew Revitalizer was in there. I just didn't realize it till afterwards. So,
Oh,
uh, yeah, that was a round one loss, which was
the
annoying.
heartbreaking, Brad, the heartbreaking loss when you realize you had the game, but you just screwed it up. Well, that happens to me from time
Yeah,
to time as well. It's, it, it's so frustrating because like it's not as frustrating. It's even more frustrating than like not being able to draw like a card out of like your 1 of 3 card. So if you have like multiples of a copy, you're not able to draw it off the top of your deck. But I don't know what I'm trying to say. Sorry,
right, right,
but it's very frustrating. It's more frustrating than not being able to top deck something sometimes
right,
because you know there was something you were able to do, but just weren't able to do it.
right.
Anyway, wow, You're starting with a round one loss.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you're kind of going, well, let's just win out at this point, right?
yeah. That was the goal. Um, but so round two,
Yep.
I play Night March,
Wow.
and I go first game one, and it goes pretty swiftly, and I win that game.
Yeah.
And
Deja vu.
my opponent decides to go second
That's
game two.
that's weird.
Yeah, I was shocked, and game two went about the same as game one.
I
Got
think what
out.
I think what he was thinking, he was like thinking if you did not get a turn one, that he would just try to, like, I don't know, maybe donk a shaman or something like that. If like something was stuck up there, he was maybe hoping for you to shaman pass or something. I don't know.
Right. But yeah, I got lock game 2, turn 1, and it went pretty smoothly. Um,
Basically, how it's supposed to go.
yeah, how the matchup is supposed to go. Um, and then we went on lunch break, and then round 3, um, I was talking to some people, and they had online pairings, and so this guy's like, "Oh, you're playing Wailord," and so I'm like, and I was kind of scared of that matchup. I mean, I can hit Wailord for weakness with
But,
Vespiquen,
but
but
like,
the
so.
Aegis
Oh, go ahead.
the Aegis Slash worried me quite a bit. Um, but game 1, I remember he went first. No, I went first. Uh, I didn't go for Vileplume in this game because he could just Erosic and then Lysander the Vileplume, and I really couldn't do anything after that. Um, so he started Durant, and I got like Vespiquen out turn 1. He with a bunch of Pokemon in discard. He draws, plays a Shauna, and passes.
Ooh.
And so I donk his Durant game 1, and then game 2 was a lot longer. I knock out 2 Wailords with Vespiquen,
Yeah.
and then he gets out Aegislash, and I'd already discarded my Toxicroak. And
Ooh.
so I had to Rototiller my Toxicroak back into my deck with Bunnelby.
Oh, that's been fun.
Yeah, and then I just Ultra Balled to get out Toxicroak, DCE, and so started triple poisoning. And I think he AZ'd up his Aegislash and brought something else active, but at that point, I already had the win. So I 2-0'd Wailord round
That's
3.
that probably was a nice feeling.
That was a very nice feeling. So yeah, 2-1 after round 3. So Hope is still alive. Um,
Dreams.
yeah, round 4. I play against Night March again.
Again.
Um, let's see. She wasn't a very experienced player. She was usually a judge, but she was just playing
Ah.
just because. So I took that one pretty quickly, 2-0.
Say things in round 2.
Yeah,
Just fire the Puma up real quickly. Make that your opponent can do nothing
yeah,
about it.
yeah. They couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Um, so it's 3-1 now.
Nice.
Going into round 5. I'm playing Night March again. So, yeah, 4 of my first 5 rounds were against Night March, which I wasn't complaining about. Um, let's see, game 1, he goes first, and he proceeds to hex me the first 3 turns of the game,
Oh.
and I couldn't do anything, so I lost that one really fast.
Yeah.
Game 2, yeah,
Yeah. You're not
like
allowed to. You can't use your shamans,
Shamans,
which
can't
this
use it. Yeah,
your unknown, because that's what your deck kind of runs on, like shamans and unknown to draw
yeah,
things. You don't have many draw supporters. I'm seeing.
exactly. And then game 2, I go first, get the lock, and do what my deck is supposed to do,
Yep.
and I take that one pretty fast. Game 3, he goes first. He misses turn 1 Hex, which is good. And then, yeah, just usually how the matchup goes. I think I won in time. Lysander to Shaman, like, just pretty routine.
Out.
Um, so I'm 4-1 going into round 6.
Was this the last round, or was this the second to last round?
This is second to last round
Okay, because you had
because
7 rounds.
there's 7 rounds.
Yep. Just double
Um,
checking.
so round 6, I get to be on stream for the first time, um, and
Nice.
I'm playing Greninja Break, and I've never tested this matchup before in
Are
my
they weak
entire
to
life.
grass?
They are weak to grass.
Okay.
But my opponent was playing 2 Jirachi,
Oh.
which I did not know about going in. So game 1, I got the lock. I went first, and I got the lock. but I couldn't draw into a DCE. So
Oh,
I
that's
got
horrible.
so I got the lock and passed, and then he got Wally into a Frogadier, and then water duplicates and all that stuff. And I just kept draw passing all of game one until he just eventually knocked out all my things,
Hmm.
which took a while. Game two, I went first again. Got the lock out, got the lock off. Got DCE this time,
That's always nice to hear.
and just proceeded to take six Swift prizes.
That's
Um,
that probably was a nice feeling after that horrible game one.
yeah, it was a very nice feeling. And then a few turns into game three, they called time. So we
This was
didn't.
this was your tie then, I'm guessing then.
Yeah.
Nope.
So yeah, I was 4-1-1. Going into last round, I had to win
Yep.
to make it in the top eight.
That must have been like a bit of a nerve-wracking feeling.
Yeah, I had to win to make it in the top eight. I was playing against Trevenant Break.
That's an interesting matchup.
Yes. And game one, he starts Wobbuffet.
Oh.
So I kind of just draw a pass for a lot of turns, and unfortunately, when he went to take his prize cards were not there.
Ooh.
So that was a game one loss for him. Unfortunately,
That was a game one loss?
Yeah, that was a game one loss for him.
How many turns was this in?
It was about 4 or 5. He already did a
Okay,
deck
that makes
search.
sense.
So yeah, he already did a deck search. So it was a game one loss.
Oh. I guess he was just tired at that point.
Yeah, and he needed a top 16 to get his invite to Worlds, so he was kind of upset after that game. Game two, I play out. I get turn one lock. He starts Wobbuffet again though, so that really didn't matter too much.
No.
Yeah, it was just a really long game. I realized at the end of the game, what I should have been doing is just shaman looping him. That's like the best strategy I've come across when playing Trevenant. It's just shaman loop and hope that they have no response for it.
Yeah. Not to mention it keeps your DC in your hand. It keeps your hold on your resources, which DC are very valuable in the deck because you have no way of getting the DC back in that deck.
Right, and I play 4 shaman, so even if he like judges me, I have a pretty high chance of drawing back into those cards.
Yeah. Especially since like at that point your deck is fairly thin.
Right. But I benched a lot of things, and he knocked out like 5 things at once, I think.
Ooh.
And then I was just starting to shaman loop to see if I could go to time.
Yeah.
But he judged me,
Yeah.
and I didn't bench my other shaman. I only had 1 shaman in the active, and he judged me, and pretty sure I had 3 shaman left in the deck, and I didn't draw into a single one.
Ooh.
But I drew into a DCE.
Ooh.
So yeah, he eventually just decked me out at that point, and we went to game 3. I had a pretty dominant. I was in a pretty dominant place going into game 3. Like he couldn't do anything. I was taking prizes like left and right, and then time was called. And yeah, like he wouldn't agree to go by prizes in game 3.
Oh, you won it?
No, because he needed his top 16 to get his invite.
4-2-1s do sometimes make top 16 though.
Yeah, but
He didn't want to risk it.
He didn't want to risk it, so we ended up taking the tie. So we were both 4-1-2, and so
okay.
Yeah, we were both 4-1-2 after that, and then yeah, I made top 16. He made top 16. So
Oh, I thought you made top 8.
no, I made top 16.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Oh,
I almost made top 8.
No, okay. Oh, that must have been like a kind of a a sad feeling to you knowing that you lost round one and almost made top eight, but you didn't do it just because someone didn't agree. Which I
Yeah.
understand his position because he
Yeah,
needed that, but
exactly. I understood. Like I wasn't upset that he didn't agree, but
I mean, I probably would have been like upset. I mean, I would have been upset, but I think I would have understood.
right, right. But I still got points. I got 30 points still, so
That's nice. That's always
yeah,
nice.
that puts me at a 200 for the season. So
200 exactly?
yep,
Ooh, just do well at regionals.
yeah, I just gotta have a good regionals run. So yeah, that was my tournament.
That was pretty nice. I'm pretty sure like your opponent. I'm 4-1-2 is pretty good record, and but I do kind of feel a little bad for your opponent for like because I think he part of the reason why he did going into like that round did he just outward say he wasn't going to agree to the prizes?
No, I asked him. Um, I asked him going in, and he
Okay,
said no.
all right, that's understandable. All right, because for a minute I thought like if you asked him like in game three, and then he said no, like I was gonna say maybe that's because he was a bit salty about like how he lost that game one,
Right,
but that's obviously not the case.
right.
So let's go into your deck. Is there any changes that you wish you would have made or wish you did
Um,
not make?
yeah, I actually played this deck for week 4, and I took out the Toxicroak for a fourth unknown
Mm-hmm.
because I'd never used the Toxicroak. Like it never was a factor really, besides like the Wailord matchup. But I was just like, if I run into that, I'll take a loss. Like,
Oh, okay. So how did you do in week four, by the way?
I went 4-2-1. Um,
Not
to
much.
get
Not much different, really.
Yeah, I made some bad misplays in a couple of my rounds, which cost me pretty bad, but it happens.
Yeah. So you made top 16 in that week too.
I actually made 19th. I was
Ooh.
just out of top 16.
Ooh. But you still did well for the most part both weeks, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and if I had to do it again, I might put in level balls for the revitalizers,
Yeah.
because I was talking to Andrew Wambolt, the creator of the deck, and he said that revitalizers might be nice, but level balls help you thin your deck out more to help you draw in the stuff you need,
All right.
which I can understand. But
Yeah. Yeah. Revitalize is like the one card from Generations that this deck uses.
yeah, I mean, it came in pretty nice in most of my matches.
Yeah. A card that I've been thinking of putting into like these Vilepmue Vespiquen decks is like maybe an Olympia. You know what that does, right?
No, what does that do?
It's a switch, but it heals 30 damage to the Pokemon you're switching out.
Huh?
So like, I think it might be it's more of like a situational thing. I don't think it would be that good of Vespiquen, but like I think it might be nice like so you don't have to get rid of DC on a Bumblebee or something like that, you know? Or if like
Oh,
you're switching out something.
right, right. Yeah,
I think AZ would be better. It's still better, but like it's like one of the
yeah,
little things I've been thinking about.
yeah. I mean, I'd rather go with like AZ
Yeah.
or put like a floatstone on if your opponent like hexes you or something. But yeah, or like if I'm finding that I get stuck with Bumblebee active,
Yeah.
I'll just like burrow or rototiller just to get cards back in my deck or just to mill them,
Yeah.
just to get some use out of Bumblebee.
Yeah.
But
Did you regret playing the Bumblebee at all, or no?
no, the Bumblebee was great. It helped me in the Wailord matchup for sure, and it kind of just helped me get back resources late game if I needed it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Because whenever I play against Vileplume decks, the number one problem they seem to run into is the fact that I can just outlive them, and they just deck themselves out.
right.
With
And like
Bumblebee, you can
Bumblebee
kind of
helps
avoid
you.
that.
Yeah, it helps you not deck out. And if your opponent like uses a lot of resources, gets their deck really low, you could try to mill them. So
Yeah, sometimes Middle League might be actually be better in certain situations than just using Vespiquen.
right.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask you any. So you said that, like you wouldn't make you would make maybe one or two like you wouldn't make any changes. Is that correct? With the section like maybe level ball?
Yeah, I'd probably put level ball. The first time I played the deck, I had level balls, so I'd probably put those back in. And like I said, I took out the Toxicroak for a fourth unknown. Um, I know one of my friends who played week 4. He played Revitalizer and he took out the Gloom for a promo Jirachi.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was an interesting tech
Hmm.
that some people might make.
And I've actually seen some people play Jirachi in this kind of deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So were there any other decks going into the states you were considering?
Yeah, I was considering Trevenant, just because like it didn't have too much success the first couple of weeks, but I've always liked the deck. But
You seem
there,
to like preventing your opponents from using items.
yes, I like. I am a big fan of item lock decks.
Oh, you're that guy.
Um, um, but yeah, like every time I play test with Trevenant, it just like bricked on me so
Yeah.
hard. Um, so I decided to go with like a more consistent deck. Which this deck is pretty consistent.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent. So were there any decks that you were like fearing going into states this week?
Totina, like for sure,
Yeah.
I was really afraid of. Just because if they get a quick Giratina, you're basically like done.
Yeah, but I haven't seen anyone play I haven't seen Totina do that well in the Oklahoma, Texas area around that area of the country. I
No,
haven't seen any at all for the most part.
not really. Um, there was like I really didn't want to go against Wailord just because of the Age Slash, but
Yeah.
I knew I had a counter for it, so I wasn't too afraid of that matchup. So
So one final question: did any people that you beat, not you beat, but did any of your opponents in general, top 8 that day?
yeah, actually like uh I think two of my opponents top aided that day.
Uh,
Um, the guy playing Greninja Break
hmm
made top 8, and one of the Night March players made top 8 as well.
was it the round one?
No, it
Okay,
wasn't. I forget which round it was. There were so many Night March.
Night March. It's ridiculous. It's just annoying at this point. And like everyone just complains that like it's so annoying. But if it's so annoying, just get good, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of decks that can counter it.
Yep.
As we saw, week 4, I think Night March only won like 2 states.
Yeah.
So
People
there's
just
yeah,
yeah,
people are just coming up with more ways to counter it.
people were just bringing out their item lock stuff.
Yeah, Jolteon, all
Yeah,
that stuff.
Jolteon's pretty good against it too.
So yeah, I
So
played against. I think I played against 3 or 4 Night March decks week 4 as well. So
wow. Yeah, Night March really is everywhere. So before we leave, who was the people that were streaming? Who was the people who were streaming your event?
um, I'm not quite sure. Their Twitch name was like Mr. Ren 123.
Okay.
Uh, I think they're the same people who stream Texas.
All right. Yeah,
So,
Mr. Ren did Texas, I believe. I watched that. So yeah, I'll put that and we'll put the link to them in the comment section below for everybody. But
okay.
any closing thoughts you want to say real quick?
Um, Not really. Either play Night March or play something to counter Night March.
That's really what the format is. But
Right.
yeah, but
Uh,
But thank you, Jordan Peterson, for coming up with showing us your list today, and congratulations in getting top 16. And I hope you uh, get your 100 championship wins and make your Worlds invite.
All right, thank you, sir.
And thank you for everyone tuning in today. I'm Sammy15 the Dragon Tim here. Hope you guys liked today's video. Please like, subscribe, all that silly stuff. Make sure to check out Mr. Ren123 and for future Twitch streams. And see you guys next time.